What's up, guys? BuyPrepPV here, and today we're doing the review of the Tyro79. It's like Banggood's. This was sent from Banggood, and pretty much the Banggood has been, I guess, Eachine has been doing some, I guess, models. You have this one, which is the Tyro79, which is $79. We also have the Tyro99, which is $99, and that's like 5-inch quad. And then we also have a Tyro 109, which is actually a brand new one that Eachine just released, and it pretty much just does some improvements on the Tyro 99. I think the 109 has some 2400 kV motors instead of the 2150. The VTX is inside the quad, and a couple of small little improvements, but they pretty much all share the kind of the same frame as this Tyro 79. And we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna bring it to the bench. We're gonna kind of go over all the little parts and specs. I did do a build video on this, which I'll leave that to a link down below if you do feel like picking that up. And then we'll close with, we'll do a flight, and then we'll go ahead and give you what my thoughts are, what I like and dislike about this Tyro 79. So I will leave links down to all those quads down below, the Tyro 109, the 79, and the 99. And let's go ahead and get to it. All right, let's get to the text and the specs of the Tyro 79. And we're going to go ahead and start off with the motors here. And the motors are 1607 2800 kV motors. So these are pretty beefy motors for a 3-inch. In comparison, the 3-inch Baby Hawk R has, I think they're 1106 motors. So they're tiny little motors. These things are big. And my Gecko build that I built has 1606 motors, which is a little tiny smaller. And that's a 4-inch quad that I've built. And yeah, so these things are pretty beefy. They should be pretty efficient in the air. So what else we have here is we have the 4-in-1 ESC, and that is this is all 20 by 20, and this is a 20 amp ESC, and it does do 25 amp burst, so should not have any problems with running 4S. It does run from 2S to 4S ESC. The flight controller, it is a, I believe it's a Maytech Target. I'm not sure exactly what the board is, but it's a Maytech Target in Betaflight, and it is an F4 processor. It does use an ICM gyro, does not use the MPU 6000. And then we also have the VTX, which is a 40 channel with race band, and it does do 25 milliwatts to 200 milliwatts, so plenty of little power for a little 3-inch quad that it does have. Now on the camera on the front, we have a 700 TVL CMOS camera. That's pretty much just basic. It doesn't have a name or a name brand on it, so it just must be an Eachine camera that they have. Now the frame itself is all carbon fiber. Has the carbon fiber plates on the side. It also has this little thing for here to support if it does crash, just squishing together. And if you notice too, the aluminum here does protect the camera really well. As you can tell, the camera's not sticking out at all, and does provide some really good impact protection in the front. We also do have this little nub here for the VTX to stick out of. I did fly this thing quite a bit, and this is actually not the original VTX antenna, the linear. I actually had to replace it with a different one because mine got chopped up in the props, because this thing probably came down and chopped up when I hit a tree. It does have a XT30 on the back, and it does not come with a receiver. I'm using an XM Plus receiver. No, I'm using an RXSR receiver in this thing, so it does have telemetry as well. And yeah, so that is pretty much about it about the Tyro 79 on all the features. One thing I'm probably left out too when I did my build, I had the antennas coming up the top. That was probably a terrible idea. Just go ahead and put them on the arms like I did. You don't have to worry about the props ever hitting the antennas, and it's a lot safer, I think, there as well. The battery strap just runs to the bottom, and we have a nice battery pad as well here. And I believe it came with another thing to protect the battery. I did not bother using it. I can't stand it. And I'm using a different battery strap because I did notice on the 4S batteries I was using, it was not long enough, so I had to get a longer one. And this one is now too short for 3S, but it fits perfectly on 4S. So yeah, so that is all the text and the specs of the Tyro 79. So let's go ahead and do a flight, and then I'll get back with you guys about what my final thoughts are on the quad.
just because I told you what I did last night. I recall the times you said you're sorry. I'm still not sure if you told lies, but I don't care, it's all forgotten now. We're holy when we touch anyhow. Holy when we touch anyhow. Give me a chance to make it right. Just let me touch you like the first time. We don't need answers to survive. Just let us keep on with the black lights. With the black lights. Hanging up to see if you would call me. I miss you more when you seem too far away. And you can blame it all on me as long as we can find our way. Do you remember all the times we tried to stop this? Yeah, we end up the same every time. Cause when our bodies beat, there's nothing left to fight about. We're holy when we touch anyhow. Give me a chance to make it right. Just let me touch you like the first time. We don't need answers to survive. Just let us keep on with the black lights. Give me a chance to make it right. Just let me touch you like the first time. We don't need answers to survive. Just let us keep on with the black lights. Somewhere in between our secrets, there's an imminent storm. It's unavoidable, yeah. But as long as I feel that you see me, I will pay no mind at all. So give me a chance to make it right. Just let me touch you like the first time. We don't need answers to survive. Just let us keep on with the black lights. Give me a chance to make it right. Just let me touch you like the first time. We don't need answers to survive. Just let us keep on with the black lights. With the black lights. We are sweet on our secrets. Telling black lies to keep them.
Alright guys, so I am back. Hope you enjoyed those flights. I did one on 3S and 4S as I showed in the videos. So pretty much my thoughts on the Tyro79. Talk with the good first. So it does fly pretty good in the air, especially if you enable 8K 8K. I think from the factory it does come with 4K or was it 4K 2K? I forget how it was set up, but I changed it over to 8K 8K, and I actually did play with it a little bit, went back and forth to see how it flew, and I really preferred how it flew on the PID loop of 8K 8K. So it does fly real smooth, real nice. No complaints on how it flies, no crazy jitters. It holds its attitude really, really well, and really surprised since this is only a $79 quad. Now, it does come with Betaflight 3.5 flashed, so you don't have to really worry about flashing it. Now, if you're watching this video in a couple months from now, Betaflight 4.0 will probably be released. So if you want to take advantage of Betaflight 4.0, then you can go ahead and flash it with that. Since it is an F4 processor, it should support mostly every single feature of Betaflight 4.0, probably instead of not probably the RPM filter, unless they get BHELI-S working with the new RPM filter coming out. Now, it does go on 3S and 4S like I explained before, and I would definitely probably suggest doing it on 4S. It does have a lot more power, and I had a lot more fun flying it on 4S opposed to 3S. Now, another good thing about it, it is only weighs 200. It only weighs 160 grams without a battery. So if you're trying to stay under 250 grams or trying to go with some laws locally where you live, this thing with the right battery could definitely stay below 250 grams without a problem. Now, another good thing about it, I liked a lot that, like I said before, it has the F4 processor, so it is kind of future-proofed. And it also does have smart audio, which I can't live without. I can't stand pressing a button and trying to figure out what channel I'm on and watching the little light blink on and off to figure out where I'm at. So it does have smart audio. So let's go ahead and go to my dislikes. What don't I like about this quad? Initially, the assembly for it was kind of confusing, especially connecting the camera because the harness wasn't correct. And I actually just went and grabbed a harness I already had in my bag to connect the camera with it, just to make it easier on myself. You can see that in the video description below, where I'll leave that link to the build video. Now the motor wires, when building it, are not silicone. They're some type of other wire that's stiff and hard to solder to. So if you're a new person getting into the hobby, it will be kind of hard to solder those. So you might either A, want to not forget cutting them and just solder them and just leave the extra wire and zip tie them off. Or if you are a little more experienced, you can cut them off and then strip them. But just be careful because it is a pain in the butt to solder this wire onto the ESC. Now, another thing was lacking is the QC. I was missing some standoffs in my kit, which luckily I had some laying around, but I had to cut them down. So my stack isn't perfectly level, which shouldn't really affect anything, and it flies perfectly fine, so I don't think it affected anything. But that's one thing to consider too, is that you might be missing some parts and you might have to contact Banggood to get those additional parts. Well, and if that's the case, then that's the case. And also another little thing I didn't like about it was the props that it came with. Just throw those things away. Those things are terrible. I flew them with it, and it flew okay, but it did not fly that great. It had a lot of wobbles and whatnot. What I would recommend you getting is some HQ 3x5x3 props. This is what I'm using on this one right now. And this thing had plenty of power, plenty of punch, and it flew pretty stinking smooth. So that should do it for the video. Like I said, I'll leave the video, these links down in the description below for these quads, and they are affiliate links. So if this video helped you out with your purchasing decision, go ahead and use those links. It helps out the channel a lot. And I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys in another video. Peace.